China's quietly screaming every day the strait stays closed. They were enjoying a nice cushion through March. They were still receiving 11.8 million barrels a day across all suppliers, and consensus called it Chinese resilience. What they actually were receiving was February's tankers, loaded before Hormuz closed and still on water. It takes 45 days to sail from the Gulf. April is now when ships stop arriving, and now there is a very real US blockade. The US blockade is not stopping all oil from reaching China. It is making it expensive, risky, and much smaller in volume. Iranian crude to China dropped from around 2 million barrels a day to maybe 400,000, and the discount is gone. Saudi shipments are halving in May, and Russian exports are dropping because Ukraine hit the Baltic terminals, and Russia's Pacific port is already maxed out. That leaves China with a gap somewhere between 900,000 to 1.6 million barrels a day, and nobody has the capacity to close it. Then there is helium. China imports 85% of its semiconductor-grade helium, and both of its major suppliers are now offline. Qatar's Laffan was destroyed in February, and then Russia imposed export controls on the 14th due to supply shortage. China has no strategic helium reserve. The distributor buffer runs out between May and July, and without helium, their chip fab stop. The crude shortage cascades into petrochemicals. Chinese ethylene is already down 18% year over year. Teapot refineries are running at 50%. Every plastic, polyester, and industrial chemical that feeds Chinese export manufacturing runs on naphtha from crude. The contraction shows up in Q2 and Q3 export data. Packaging, textiles, construction materials, electronics, housing, automotive interiors, the sectors that generate China's trade surplus. Put it all together. The crude gap forces reserves drawdown, helium forces fab halts, petrochemicals force manufacturing contraction. China is absorbing 3 simultaneous supply shocks while trying to build the industrial sovereignty the AI race requires. The wasted reserve barrels on industrial supply doesn't allow for future sovereignty build-out or for the military sustainment any Taiwan contingency would require. For more breakdowns, check out my Substack, link in the bio.